as I see it, basically with the kind of reaction and the completely unhinged, over the top response that I got to the crash test dummy videos, the absolute lunacy and hatred that I got, and the vile misogyny and all that other stuff that I was subjected to for that one little act. If you don't like me, if you hate me, I must be on to something. I must be doing something right, I'm serious, like, and the thing is that the broader internet is right about the comment section about this particular corner of the web. There are people who like literally they on their blogs they're talking about YouTube, and they're saying that this particular corner of the web, every time they dive into the comment section, it can like completely removes whatever faith they have left in humanity. It crushes it completely. So it's kind of a. I mean, let's be real about the kinds of comments that I've seen historically on. I mean this platform. I mean, just to give you some context, for the amount of just you honor me through your hatred, man. Like Pinochet. Right wing dictator who pushed enemies out of helicopters and everything, and did all that other stuff, and you get a video
throwing people from helicopters,
and you check the comments and what people are saying. I'm looking for some of the more alarming and disgusting comments that I tend to see on this damn platform. I suppose the real freaks kind of show up in the more realistic, comment sections. So, like, do we really want to, I hate that OBS Studio doesn't have the ability to just pause in the middle of this so I can actually look, to see some of this stuff. This guy was one of the most brutal, like dictators in the whole, of the Chilean history, and you've got See, I mean, look at this. This kind of creepiness. Best Chilean president ever. They'll say that about the. Of course, somebody has to respond. Allende was the best Chilean president ever. Like, that just makes me laugh. Response: yeah, fuck you. I mean, this is delusional. Communism literally does this to people. It does not justify doing it to communism. Communism doesn't do that to people. Like people who are hate communists do the communist. It's. But at least he says it doesn't justify doing it to communists. But what would the communists have done to the middle class in Chile? The same thing. So the key is not to swing hard to either pole, and the reality is, the socialists came in power thanks to a democratic election. If you've ever read what Chile under Salvador Allende, you wouldn't be saying this nonsense, especially when Salieri isn't even a communist; he's a socialist. The first year under Allende's presidency, Chile's middle class was enriched and became bigger, but then the U.S. head president by Reagan at that time made Chile's economy scream in response to it, and then the CIA backed a military coup, which brought Pinochet to power. Salviendi's first words when they heard the sounds of skirmishes and bombardments in the palace were, "I wonder what they did with poor Pinochet." He thought Pinochet didn't portray the state and the democracy of Chile. He still trusted him, you know. I mean, look at it. Pinochet Solutions 2024. I mean, this is the kind of shit. This guy killed tons and tons of people in there. He murdered them, pushed leftists out of helicopters, engaged in absolute murder of people and everything. And I know what you're going to say. These are evil, evil socialists, but, I'm a supporter of human rights. So, it's like, yeah, you can disagree with their ideology all you want. You don't have to kill them, you know? And there are people that say he did nothing wrong. I mean, this is the kind of character of this particular platform. He did nothing wrong. So they're endorsing the murders and all of the shitty things that Pinochet did when he was in power. I mean, this is the quality of character that I've encountered during my time here. The absolute love of this regime of horror that engaged in horrific oppression of the people of Chile and all the terrible things that happened. But no, there are people who will come straight in and endorse all of it and say that he did nothing wrong and that he did right by the people of Chile. This is the quality of our character. And then YouTube has the audacity, the sheer overconfidence to think, that they can come into my comment section, say a bunch of hateful shit to me, and that doesn't honor me. The truth of the matter is that you are such vile, degenerate filth that I must be onto something and doing something right if you don't like me.